Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and blessings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome as we continue with our Healing Fast Challenge. I'm doing a quick little touch up and pulling up our ebook right now as we continue through the process. Just like we mentioned in all the other sessions that we had, if you have your ebook and another device, feel free to pull it up right now. I'm pulling mine up as well. That way we can continue to put together the rest of the information when it comes down to understanding fasting and applying it to our healing process to correct blood pressure issues. So I'm glad to have you guys here. We'll be getting started in just 1 second. And hopefully over the weekend, you all were able to apply some of the tactics and strategies that we broke down the past couple days when it comes down to understanding fasting and applying it to help you correct your blood pressure issues. So, excuse me. So before we get started with tonight's session, I want to go back and do a recap over the last 3 days and help you break down and continue to put the information together as far as all of the other fasting strategies that we talked about, how to apply them, and just make sure that we all having a good understanding of what this looks like when it comes down to improving your health, correcting your blood pressure issues, and ultimately getting off the pharmaceutical medications. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. And as I continue through this process, I'll definitely answer those questions for you guys. That way I make sure you guys have the best understanding possible. So we broke down the different fasting strategies. Tonight, we're going to be talking about putting it all together and understanding, the symptoms, what to expect during this process, how to apply it if you're taking medication as well, and all those small intangibles that are important to make sure that you have a successful fast, as well as, you understand how to maintain the results of your fast as well. So we're going to talk about these strategies, then we're going to dive into putting it all together and continue to tie everything in. So we have to understand how to put it all together. And then the last fasting strategy would be the fasting mimicking diet that we have to break down. And then we're just going to run it together and just make sure it all happens. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the page so you can get notifications whenever we do go live with the different challenges and other things. And make sure you like the video just to continue to support us as we move forward. So here we go. So we're going to talk about these 3 strategies that we broke down so far over the past couple of days. We talked about intermittent fasting, understanding how that works, how it applies to your diet and lifestyle when it comes down to taking medications. And we also talked about it being the beginner stages of fasting, a type of fast that anyone can do, no matter if you're having blood sugar issues, you're on medication, or you have all these other concerns. We talked about how intermittent fasting works, how you can apply it, how you can use it as an entry level to continue to progress and get better at fasting. We talked about how fasting hits all the different metabolic areas of the body and bring different numbers down, such as your weight, your blood pressure, your blood sugar levels, your cholesterol, all these things. We talked about how it all ties together. So intermittent fasting was the first one we broke down. We're going to talk about how to put it together. The second one, we talked about alternate day fasting. And it's exactly what it sounds like, alternating days between fasting. You eat one day, you fast the next day. Eat one day, you fast the next day. And understanding how that strategy and that schedule works when it comes down to improving your blood pressure and making sure you improve your overall health. The alternate day fasting was a more intermediate fasting. It was a higher level, a higher fasting window, and it brings about bigger results when it comes down to your overall health. It's a little bit challenging for some, especially those that have never fasted, those that are on medication. So understanding where you fit in that is going to be very important. And we're going to talk about that as we put it together. Then we also broke down the water-only fasting, which is more so of an extended fast, a 3-day water fast or longer, the effects that it has on your overall health. We talked about how it's currently being used to treat and correct blood pressure issues in many places around the country in a medical sense, in different medical facilities that are actually utilizing water-only fasting and applying it as a strategy just to help people with blood pressure issues. So we talked about all those things, and we got an understanding of what fasting is when it comes down to the different effects that it has on the body, such as autolysis, ketosis, autophagy, all those effects that allows the body to heal and rejuvenate itself. So all those are different components that we broke down. We went deeper into it. If you have your Healing Fast ebook, you still have that information that you can dive into, continue to digest it, and put it together for yourself. All that information is there for you. And now we're going to talk about putting it all together when it comes down to all these different fasting strategies. So in our ebook, we have the putting it together section. This is where we're at. I'm going to read through these different passages. That way you can understand the day-to-day guide, the potential symptoms and side effects, and just have some guidance as you move forward through this. One thing about it is I want to address a couple questions that I got inside of the group as well. A couple people have already started fasting, and some people have already started experiencing some great results with it regarding their blood pressure coming down, them losing a couple pounds over the weekend and things like that, which is all great. But the main thing that we have to understand is that when you're applying these strategies to help you improve your health and get better control of your blood pressure, these strategies are designed to help bring your blood pressure down. And what happens is when you're taking medication as well, medications are working in the same direction. So you're living and doing health promoting things, you're taking your medication, and you're gonna start seeing a drop in your blood pressure. And when that blood pressure starts coming down, one thing that you have to understand is that hypotension is a real thing. It's a serious thing. It's just as bad as hypertension, having your blood pressure out of control. So we have to understand as we start trending in those right directions, we got to start addressing or communicating rather with our doctors about what we're doing and how it's affecting our bodies and working towards getting off the medication. So if you're someone that's applying these different strategies, you're making a necessary dietary change, you're creating movement for yourself, you're fasting, and you're seeing that blood pressure number coming down, it's time to start talking to our doctors about reducing and eliminating the medications. That way you don't run the risk of being over-medicated and running into the complications of hypotension. Because again, it doesn't take a long time for these dietary and lifestyle strategies to have a direct impact on your blood pressure. So when you start seeing those numbers coming down, let's start communicating with our doctors about what we're doing. That way we can ultimately get our medications reduced and corrected as we continue to improve our health. And during this strategy session, we've seen some people that ask questions about their blood pressure possibly being too low and having those concerns. And yes, the numbers are going to come down. So now it's about just working towards getting off the medication, but most importantly, continue to improve your health to maintain the results that you've acquired during this process. So now, without me just rumbling on all and on, let's talk about the putting it together aspect of the Healing Fast Challenge. So we're going to begin with a 7-day intermittent fasting plan. And this is going to just give you another breakdown of this method, how to plug and play it to your day-to-day lifestyle, and what to expect while you're going through this doing these different processes. So the method that we should begin with is the 16-8 intermittent fasting method, which is 16 hours of fasting followed by an 8-hour eating window. So this is going to be your baseline, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating window. Basically what this means is 8 o'clock, shut the window down. No more food after 8 o'clock. If you're going to have anything to drink, water only. Nothing else. Simple as that. We talked about on the past couple of days how some people like to have coffee or tea or different type of supplements and things like that. And we talked about the thin line that there is between there because, you know, some of these things may have the potential to break your fast. And we talked about the coffee and the caffeine and the effects that it has on the blood pressure and all those little intangibles. If you want more information about that, check out day 1 again. That way you can review the breakdown of that. But the best guideline to follow is water only. Because if you do water only during this process, this is going to allow you to have, one, the peace of mind of knowing that you're in the fasting state rather than taking some herbal tea and there being some fruit sugars in there, natural fruit sugars, that ultimately break your fast and not allow you to get the rejuvenating effects that you're looking for. So if you do water only, it keeps it nice and simple, 16 hours water only. So you want to basically shut down your eating window at 8 o'clock and don't open it back up until another 16 hours, which is roughly noon time. So that 16-hour window, the majority of that fast is going to occur while you're sleeping, and basically you're foregoing breakfast and allowing your body to continue doing this fasting state. And this is going to help your body continue to cleanse, continue to purge, and continue to rebuild itself during this process. So that's your 16-8 fasting window. Now, one of the main things that we have to understand is understanding our body and how we respond to it, because everyone may not be able to jump out of the gate with the 16-hour fast. And this is where we go back to breaking that number down. So if you're someone that struggles with getting 16 hours in, let's say you find yourself hungry or feeling irritated or, just off, that means your body can't necessarily handle that 16 hours. So let's bring it down a little bit. So instead of going for the 16 right out of the gate, maybe you can start with 12. Then maybe after you get comfortable with 12, 14, then back to 16. And then you can build yourself back up to continue to do do the longer fast to help you just continue to get the results that you're looking for. So don't be intimidated if you try to go 16 and you only make it 12, 13 hours. That just letting you know that, hey, your body's not ready to go as far yet, but start off with that consistent 12-hour fast and build yourself up to continue through this process. Because again, this type of dietary and lifestyle adjustment is this is going to help you reach your long-term goals of getting off the medication. So building yourself up and gradually improving is going to be one of the best methods to sustain your results and get comfortable with the strategy that you're doing. So that's your intermittent fasting strategy. So you begin fasting at 8 p.m., water only as needed is going to be the best method. 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. Break the fast with a nutritious meal, whole grains, healthy fats, plenty of fruits and vegetables. One of the most important aspects of fasting is not necessarily the fast itself, but what you do after the fast to sustain your results. You still need to build the body. During the fasting process, your body is breaking down and recycling and rejuvenating these cells. So when you break your fast, you have to rebuild your body, or you have to give your body the foods that are going to help to rebuild itself. The whole foods, the foods that are high in potassium, magnesium, calcium, the zinc, the antioxidants, the sodium, all those different things that are key to helping your body maintain and function properly. And you find those in the form of whole foods, whole grains, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, leafy greens, all those different things. Those components are what's going to help you rebuild the body. Because again, when you're dealing with blood pressure issues, you're dealing with a dysfunction when it comes, whether it's coming down to your cells, the different systems of the body, the endothelial cells. There's a dysfunction there, and that dysfunction needs to be corrected and rejuvenated. And the only way to do so is by providing your body with the things that it needs, and eating whole foods is going to be the best approach. So you want to make sure that you're eating the foods to rebuild and not consuming foods that are going to cause you to just retoxify yourself after doing all this fasting and cleansing. So whole foods are going to be the best key moving forward. And we also talked about those key foods that are high in the potassium, the magnesium, and those essential minerals that are needed to help correct your blood pressure issues. So eating a health promoting meal when you break your fast is going to be key. Throughout the eating window, consume balanced meals and snacks, emphasizing heart healthy choices. And at 8 p.m., you begin the fasting period again. So right back over, it's another continuous cycle, and continue with your fasting process is going to be key. The best thing to do when you're applying an intermittent fasting strategy is to set a goal for 30 days. 30 days of intermittent fasting, set a goal through that time period, and you want to document your journey. As you're doing this and documenting your journey, this is going to allow you to understand how this fasting strategy is working. Don't just start fasting and just say, okay, I'm gonna fast and just go with it, and don't look at the results. You have to document your journey to understand how this strategy is affecting you. You want to know where your blood pressure started to come down at, where your weight started to improve, what's going on with your cholesterol, your blood sugar. You need to know those things, because what happens is, one, you'll be able to see the results in real time and understand how this is affecting your body. And two, even if you don't necessarily lose weight or see certain results, This doesn't mean that it's not working for you, but you have to be able to document your journey and continue through the process to ultimately see the effects of it and put these things together. Because again, fasting isn't necessarily a cure-all to your blood pressure issues or improving your overall health. It's a part of the puzzle. And understanding that your lifestyle as a whole is how things come together. So fasting is one thing we talked about, improving your nutrition, your sleep levels, your stress levels, creating more movement. All these things ultimately come together to help you correct these internal issues that you're dealing with. So documenting your journey through this process is going to help you see, oh, you lost 2 pounds this week, or your blood pressure came down 5 points this week. This is going to allow you to see the trend. And I can guarantee you, when you see these trends, it's going to motivate you to keep up with the process, because it's nothing like seeing your blood pressure come down 10 points in a week because you decided to fast, eat properly, and make some adjustments. Because now, imagine if you do this for a week and you see these types of results, and you do it for 30 days and you maintain these types of results. This is going to keep you moving in the direction to reaching your goal, which is to ultimately get off of the pharmaceutical medications. So documenting your journey is just as important as the fast itself and what you're consuming afterwards. Because if you document your journey, one, you got a paper trail that you can show your doctor as well. And two, you can see the blueprint. Therefore, after you see the blueprint, if you make any mistakes or you fall off the wagon at any point, you know what you need to do to get back on to continue to reach your goals. Because again, it's a journey. It's not just a quick fix. It happens in a week. It's a journey. It's a process. You're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have some ups and downs. But understanding how to get back on track after these issues is going to be very important. So documenting the journey is going to be key. So potential symptoms of your fast. We're going to break these down really quick. Number one, headaches. Headaches are going to be something that's really common. They come and they go. They come in waves. Reason being, there's no real breakdown of why people have headaches while fasting, but the science behind it points directly to, one, toxins moving around and being released during the fasting process, and two, people just being so used to doing certain things at a particular time. We have a little alarm clock inside of our body that says, oh, it's 12 o'clock. I always eat at 12. It means lunchtime. And if we don't give our bodies what we typically need or do consistently, our body starts to just, I won't say glitch, but it starts to respond in different ways because you're not in that pattern or routine. So headaches come and go in the cycle of fasting. And as you continue to fast and build up and make the adjustments, your body pushes through these things and they become less frequent until they actually don't exist at all. So headaches are common during the initial days of fasting. Stay hydrated and consider easing into the fasting pattern if your headaches are too persistent. So let's say if you in the 16-hour fast and you notice around 14, 15 hours, you always getting a headache and you're getting irritated and agitated behind it, you got to build yourself up to it. So maybe you can break it at 15 instead of going to the 16 with the intermittent fasting. And this will allow you to just continue to build. But the main thing is you have to be able to understand your body, how you're responding. And one thing also, don't push yourself too far. We maybe want to reach certain goals, but it's a process. Don't try to overdo it, overexert yourself, and push yourself through these different symptoms that you may experience. But gradual progression is going to be the key to actually sustaining these results, because you don't want to get too deep, get so irritated, or be so turned off by the process that you eliminate one of the key healing aspects of your health, and just be deterred away from fasting because of the symptoms that come with it. But build your way up, understand the symptoms, because if you understand why these symptoms are there, you're in more control to either wait it out and relax through this process and get yourself to the other end. So headaches are one. Number two is nausea. Some people may experience nausea during fasting. One thing that helps with this is drinking herbal teas or water with a splash of lemon may help with the nausea. Now, when it comes down to the herbal teas, we have to go back to the fasting aspect that we talked about was making sure that you're not consuming the herbal teas that have like dehydrated fruits and added sugars and things like that, because those things will break your fast. If it's just a regular herbal tea with nothing else in it, you're going to be completely fine there, and that will help with any nausea that you may be dealing with. And just a little water with some lemon inside of it, and being sure not to squeeze the juice of the lemon and all those things inside, because that releases the sugars, and that can actually break your fast as well. So understanding that, it's a thin line between certain things, but how you proceed is going to be important. Herbal teas, no sugars, no calories, nothing extra in it. You're drinking lemon and water, just put the lemon slices inside of the water. No need to squeeze it and make a lemonade and go from there. So understanding how to maneuver through these different symptoms are important. Number 3, the third symptom, fatigue. Fatigue is going to be something that's going to be normal, especially when you begin to fast. Adequate rest and avoiding strenuous activities during the fasting period is going to be key. When you're fasting, your body is redirecting energy to rebuild and rejuvenate itself. So you want to make sure that you're allowing your body to rest and function in that manner. Some people like to exercise and work out while fasting. Me personally, I'm that type of person. I like to run and exercise in the morning in a fasting state. But we have to understand that when you're in the process of rebuilding your body, you want to make sure that you're resting as much as possible, especially as a beginner faster. Me, I've been fasting for quite some time now, and most of the time I probably bypass breakfast anyways, go out for a run, and don't even think about it, because I'm accustomed to doing such things, and it's a normal part of my routine. But for the average person that doesn't fast often, creating more movement and exercising in the fasting state can really trigger you in many different ways. So be mindful that when you're fasting during that period, try to rest a lot more. And once you break your fast afterwards during that eating window, at some point you want to get some moderate activity in, then that's just how you have to work it in. The next one, the hunger. Hunger is something that comes and goes as well, just like the headaches. Those hunger pains, they're in and out. They're always going to be in and out. Reason being, a lot of us are accustomed to just eating throughout the day. Breakfast, lunch, snack, another snack, something to snack on while we're in the car driving home. We eat all the time throughout the day. So when you're fasting and you're not used to getting certain things throughout the day, this can trigger a bit of hunger. So we have to understand that it's gonna come and go. And the main thing about intermittent fasting is this: the majority of this fast is going to take place while you're sleeping and resting. And this should allow you to get through the bulk of it. And getting through that morning from 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, all the way to noon is just a matter of just understanding the process, being set in the reason why you're doing it, and avoiding those tempting challenges that may come about, that donut in the office, that coffee that somebody brings you, or whatever have you that may tempt you wherever you're at. Just understanding the reason why you're fasting. I'm fasting to correct my metabolic issues and get off of blood pressure medications. That reason alone is much bigger than a cup of coffee, a donut, a sandwich, or what have you. Understanding that ultimately, when you get through this process, you can reduce and eliminate your need for pharmaceutical medications and redirect the whole direction of your overall health in your life. So that why is going to be a big aspect, especially when it comes down to the hunger aspect. Knowing why you're doing this, understanding that your eating window opens up at this particular time, and this is where you can continue to nourish your body with those health promoting foods. The last one is going to be dizziness or lightheadedness. It may be a sign to break your fast if you find yourself dizzy or lightheaded during the fast. A lot of times when this happens, this is directly related to your blood sugar levels dropping. One thing I mentioned is that fasting has a direct impact on your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels. So understanding what your body can handle is going to be key. So if you know you're dealing with blood sugar issues, this is where you start out with that 12-hour fast. Simply 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. Don't eat anything. That gives you a 12-hour fasting window, and that brings a balance to your eating habits and your fasting habits. Once you create balance, your body's able to burn off whatever you're consuming and you're not storing and holding on to extra things, and it's going to allow your body to cleanse itself and bring balance. So if you're dealing with blood sugar issues, start with the 12-hour fast, and then you can continue to build up on it and see how your body responds. And usually if you find yourself lightheaded and dizzy, this can be a sign of this, and breaking your fast is the best course of options to do. And then just restart the next day. You only did 11, 12 hours that day. That's fine. Break the fast. Do another 11, 12 hours. Do it again the next day, and then see how your body builds up. And this is going to allow you to continue to turn the wheel and move in the right direction. And again, documenting your journey is going to be key, because if you see, last week I was only able to do 11 hours of fasting. The next week I was able to do 13. The next week I actually did the 16 hours. This is gradual improvement, and this is where you're seeing your body's resilience, and you're getting better at this process. And ultimately, as you continue to chip away and improve your health, you're going to see how your body takes shape, and these issues, these chronic issues that you're dealing with, start to disappear. Next up, additional considerations while you're fasting. Number one, monitor your blood pressure. Monitor it regularly. One time in the morning when you wake up as usual, and before you go to bed. Those are the two best times to do it. That way you can get kind of a consistent schedule of seeing what your blood pressure looks like. Typically, your blood pressure is at its peak throughout the middle of the day, but taking it in the morning, taking it at nighttime, is going to help you have an understanding and an average of what's going on with you internally. And taking it frequently will allow you to see what's going on, what the trends are, when it comes down to how this fasting is helping you get to the root cause of your problem. Number two, staying hydrated. Drink plenty of water. Simple as that. There's no set amount of water that you need to drink. Just drink enough of it. If you're thirsty, drink some water. You're feeling a little hungry, drink a little bit of water. You don't have to walk around with a big gallon of water just trying to chug and go, because that ain't gonna do nothing but keep you in the bathroom. Simple as that. But if you feel like you're thirsty, you feel like you're hungry, and you need something, have a little bit of water. Drink a little cup of water and keep it moving. But staying hydrated is going to allow for you to keep yourself moving in the right direction. And there is a such thing as overhydrating. Imagine if you're just trying to chug this gallon of water and you're just pissy and got to keep going to the bathroom. This is going to cause you to flush out electrolytes and vital minerals and the things that your body needs, because your body can only hold so much water. So understanding that, just drink when you're thirsty, drink when you just feel like you want something. That's going to be the best option to go. Everybody's going to be a little bit different depending on their movement levels, their job, their requirements. So there's no set amount of water to consume. But when you drink when you're thirsty, this allows for you to hydrate your body and keep moving in the right direction. Next is going to be avoid overeating when you break your fast. A lot of times when we break our fast, we're like, man, I've been waiting to eat, and we kind of overdo it. Sometimes we eat the wrong foods and we just eat too much in that sitting. Try to avoid overeating. And the best way to avoid overeating is by simply eating the nourishing foods that you need. Those whole foods that are going to provide you with the fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, all the things for your body to function properly. When you eat whole foods, it's very hard to overeat and overconsume these items. Think of it this way. You eat an apple. Your apple roughly the size of your hand or your fist, the palm of your hand. If you think about it, it takes about 5 apples to fit inside of your stomach before your stomach is all full. It's hard to overeat on whole foods, apples, potatoes, whole grains, these things. It's hard to overdo that. But if you have a processed item like, let's say, a soda or a cereal, and I can't even think of like any food like rice without fiber and all those different things, they break down really fast and they don't take up any space in your body. They're giving you an influx of calories. They're giving you all these different things that are not necessarily essential for your health. They don't have the fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, and all the things that you need. And you find yourself overindulging. But when you eat whole foods, whole grains, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, leafy greens, all those different things, they're going to nourish your body. They're going to take up space in your stomach. They're going to satiate you, and they're going to allow you to feel nourished during this process. Because remember, when you're hungry, your body doesn't need calories. It needs nutrients. And giving it nutritious foods is going to allow you to curb that hunger, provide your body with the essential vitamins and minerals that it needs, and continue to push you in the right direction. And this is going to create that healing, health promoting pattern that you're looking for to reach that ultimate goal that you're moving towards. So avoid overeating is going to be important. And the last one is always consult your doctor. If you're experiencing persistent symptoms or you have specific dietary needs, consult with a healthcare professional or nutritionist directly to help them assist you on your journey. There's many doctors out there that are skilled in helping patients understand how to use fasting as their strategy. If you're someone that's a little concerned about your health and have some bigger questions, simply asking your doctor is going to allow you to get the information you need to continue to move forward with the confidence to apply fasting as a strategy. Because ultimately it's about understanding what you need to do, what to expect during this process, and following through with it. If you're unsure, ask your doctor. Say, hey doc, I've been thinking about fasting. I'm trying to do this intermittent fasting routine. What are your thoughts? They're gonna tell you two things. I don't know nothing about fasting, I'm not the guy to ask, or they're gonna help you understand what your challenges may be while you're doing it and help guide you along the pathway to actually do so. It's as simple as that. So those are gonna be the conditions when it comes down to intermittent fasting, really basic stuff. And those same things go throughout the different fasting strategies as well. And as we move through understanding the 7-day alternate day fasting, I'm going to help tie all these things in together. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in below. I'm going to answer this question that we have there. But any questions, drop it below, and I'm going to continue with the 7-day alternate day fasting plan. That way you can continue to apply it. How do you mentally psych out hunger? Any tips? It goes back to knowing your why, understanding why you're doing it. And sometimes you got to really be sick and tired of being sick and tired, because a lot of times we know why we're doing it, and at the end of the day we be like, man, forget that, I'll try again tomorrow. But understanding that, you can't give in to these types of temptations, and you also can't rely on your willpower to help you get over the hump, because willpower don't go too far. It's as simple as that. So sometimes you have to create the environment for you to be successful in, and even remove yourself from the environment that can be tempting to you. So if you know you got a habit of sneaking in the kitchen in the middle of the night having junk food when you shouldn't, you might have to pull that out of your kitchen and eliminate it completely from your environment to help you avoid certain things. So it's really just about understanding your why, also controlling your environment as best as you can to make sure you're not tempted. And this is going to help set the stage for you to continue to move forward. And the main thing is, don't look at your shortcomings as a failure, that you can't do it, or just like, this isn't for you, but more so learn from what happened. If you got up 2 o'clock in the morning and got something out of the cabinet, understand the why behind that. You were hungry. Okay, did you not eat enough food in your fasting window? What didn't you do correctly? And then start to piece together the puzzle. And I can guarantee you, if you continue to move in the right direction and apply yourself and understand what you're doing, documenting your journey. I broke my fast at 2 a.m. because I was hungry. This is gonna help you just get better. And it sounds like a lot of fluff, like basic stuff, but I can guarantee you, most people that fail at these types of tactics and strategies, they ain't documenting their journey. They're not looking at their footwork or their steps that they're taking. They just failed and they didn't learn from what they did. Document your journey, understand your process, and reaffirm yourself in the reason why you're doing this. And this will help you gain leverage to continue to move forward in the right direction with these different fasting strategies. So now, here we go. The next one, 7-day alternate day fasting. Where am I? Okay, the daily schedule. So when it comes to 7-day alternate day fasting, on your fasting days, back to the same thing, consuming water only. Water only is going to be the best method. And, you know, again, there's other things some people like to consume, but water only is going to be the best method. We talked about the right type of water. You want to see that breakdown. Day 1 of the Healing Fast Challenge, we talked about the water in a lot more detail. What's the best water, the ideal type of water, from my opinion, to consume while fasting. And I kind of aligned it with all the other different types of waters out there. There's no wrong water, but I broke down why I chose to use the type of water that I spoke about. So day one, fasting day, water only. Best approach, water only, nothing more, nothing less. Keep it simple. You do water only, you ain't gotta look over your shoulder worrying about if you broke your fast or if you're doing it right. On your eating days, enjoy balanced meals, whole foods. That's gonna be one of the best recurring, that's one of the recurring things I always talk about. Eat more whole foods. Whole foods provide your body with everything that you need. The fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, everything to function properly. When you start eating processed, denatured foods, they strip away the fiber, they take out the water, they cook it and break it down so much, there's no vitamins and minerals and enzymes in it, and you're getting the bare minimum, and it's not nourishing your body. When you're fasting and you're breaking your fast and you're trying to rebuild your body, you need the building blocks. You get those building blocks from whole foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, leafy greens. Those are all the vital building blocks that's going to give you the essential minerals that you need to function properly. And the reason I choose these whole foods is because no matter what type of whole foods you consume, they all have an abundance of what's needed to some degree. Of course, some are going to be higher than others, but if you eat some Swiss chard, it's going to have potassium, magnesium, and all the other things. Whether you have kale, arugula, quinoa, or whatever, it's going to have those nutrients there that's going to help you continue to build. So understanding that your options should be based around whole foods. Understand the whole foods that you like, apply them to your dietary strategy, continue to build. And that's one of the main things that's going to help you continue to get the nutrients to correct the blood pressure issue. So day one, day one on the alternate day fasting, you want to start out, it's going to be an eating day. Enjoy your balanced whole meal, whole grains, healthy fats, plenty of fruits and vegetables throughout the day. Day 2 is going to be your fasting day. Consume water only, and this is going to be roughly 36 hours. And we talked about the intermittent fasting being a longer fasting duration. It's 36 hours of fasting, that 24 hours for that one day, and that extra hangover to the next day to break your fast is going to be key. So understanding that on the eating day, you're eating to nourish your body, giving your body the fuel that it needs. On that fasting day, water only, you're in cleansing mode. You're going to be deep into autophagy, autolysis, ketosis. All these different healing mechanisms are happening, and just continuing to see yourself through that whole process. With the alternate day fasting, the same type of schedule should follow. Set yourself up for 30 days of alternate day fasting to see and understand how it works for you. For myself, I did roughly I did about 17 days of alternate day fasting, and this is where I saw the major results. And I only broke my fast because my partner at the time, we actually conceived at that time, so we decided to just break the fast at that particular moment. But understanding that as you're going through this process, documenting your journey, understanding what you're doing, and seeing how it affects you, it's gonna be one of the major aspects of it. And understanding if this type of fast is beneficial for you. I had one gentleman, Nate, matter of fact, Nate wasn't sure about the type of fast that he wanted to do. We went through the different fasting strategies. He landed on alternate day fasting. Nate was dealing with blood sugar issues, blood pressure issues, and he was also like 60, 70 pounds overweight. Nate did alternate day fasting for 2 months, lost 60 pounds, corrected his blood pressure issues, he corrected his blood pressure issues, his blood sugar issues, and brought balance back to his whole lifestyle. Looked like a totally different person once he finished that whole process. And that was just from him being consistent through this whole fasting cycle. And I'm on my computer right now because I want to show you guys a picture of Nate, because his whole process was so cool. And it was one of the first people I actually worked with. And we went through this whole fasting strategies. When we started talking about it, he just reminded me of myself during that time period, because I mentioned to you guys also that I was dealing with some weight issues. I was 248 pounds, and after applying these fasting strategies and lifestyle changes, I ended up losing over 80 pounds and just basically turning my whole life around just by understanding what lifestyle changes look like. When I saw Nate and met him, we went through the same process. He was able to get the same type of results by simply doing these same things. And I pulled up a picture here, and I just want to share it with you guys. That way you can see kind of what this type of fasting can do for you. And let me see where we at. Of course I can't find it. Here we go. But I pull it up. But yeah, alternate day fasting is one of those things that's there. So 36-hour fasting window, and then eat one day, fast the next day, eat one day, fast the next day, alternating between the days. And when you set yourself up to be able to alternate between those days, this is going to allow you to document your journey a whole lot better to understand exactly how it's going to impact your overall health. So now, I'm looking for this picture. I don't know why I can't find it, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading through it. Hopefully it pops up in a second. So day one, eat. Next day, don't eat, and alternate between those different cycles. Water only is going to be the best approach during this time period. And if you do decide to do coffee or tea and stuff like that, be mindful of the effects that we spoke about and broke down, because again, certain things you just want to avoid to make sure you get the best results during this whole process. The same symptoms apply that when it comes through the fasting: headaches, nausea, fatigue, hunger, dizziness. You want to make sure you monitor your blood pressure, stay hydrated, avoid overeating. If you're experiencing your symptoms dragging along, talk to your doctor about the things that you're doing. So those are the same type of rules that all fall into the same process. Alternate day fasting is, again, it's one of those intermediate level fasting. It's not that it's one of those level up intermediate levels of fasting. It's not the beginning level. The intermittent fasting is your beginner level. Alternate day is your intermediate level. It's for someone that understands fasting, that's done it before, and they understand their body and they're able to push a little bit further with it. So understand where you land at is going to be key. And also, again, being able to level up and grow to that level is definitely possible. But the main thing, you just want to make sure that so now we're going to move on to the extended water fast. And the extended water fast is going to be your 3-day water fast. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. My phone just rang. I want to make sure I didn't get knocked off. If you guys can hear me, put a 1 inside of the chat so I can know that you can hear me, and we can keep going through with this process. So we're going to get into the 3-day water only fasting right now. And the 3-day water only fasting, this is more of awesome. Glad you guys can hear me. So the 3-day water only fasting is more of an extended fast. This is more for the individual that, they're not dealing with blood sugar issues. They're not dealing with any other complications. They may understand fasting and have a foothold in it, and they're ready to push themselves through this whole process. Best time to do a 3-day water only fast is gonna be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those are the ideal days. The reason I say ideal, because it's the weekend. You can kind of, for some of us, we can kind of just cut everything off, not do anything for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you have to take an extra day off of work and just set yourself down to do this type of fast. Excuse me. Set yourself down to do this type of fast. Now, the 3-day water only fast is ideal, again, if you don't have any other complications. You just have blood pressure issues, this is going to be a great place for you to begin with, 3-day water only fasting. Ideally, and again, I can't tell you guys not to take your medication while fasting, because that's just not my position as your doctor. Always consult with your doctor about this. But during all the fasting studies and all the fasting strategies that I've seen, they don't allow their patients to take their medication during this process. Reason being, when you fast and you take medication, they work in the same direction. The pills are designed to manipulate your body to bring the blood pressure number down. The fast itself is actually healing and correcting issues internally, and it's also bringing the blood pressure down. You got two things that are working in the same direction. That's going to cause the blood pressure to drop too low to create hypotension and other complications that you want to avoid. So when doing the fasting strategies that I've watched and documented, even been a part of, no medication is being taken during this process. One thing I like to tell people is this: many times we forgot to refill our medication and wasn't fasting, or we just didn't take our medication at any particular time. It ain't kill us. And understanding that when you're fasting and you're applying it with intentions, this allows for you to understand the healing mechanism that you're doing to help correct the internal issues that you're dealing with. Dick Gregory said, he said this one thing that was really funny to me, and it made a whole lot of sense. I hope I don't butcher it, but what he said was this. He gave a speech. If you don't know who Dick Gregory is, he's some of everything actually, but he's big when it comes down to just understanding your health and being logical about what you're doing when it comes down to your overall lifestyle. So one thing that he said was this: when people make poor lifestyle choices, they don't go asking their doctor, can they do cocaine, could they drink alcohol, or could they do all these things that are bad for their health. But when it's time to do something that's beneficial for their health, they get to questioning how healthy some food is, get to questioning about how fasting is or how it works, and instead of just actually applying the tactics and understanding how it affects them and how to benefit from the whole process. So I'm saying all that to say is that when you're applying these different things, understanding that you're working towards a goal, and a health promoting strategy with the knowledge and understanding of how to apply it can be some of the best things that you do for your overall health. And speaking for myself, me being 248 pounds to getting down to 168 pounds and leveling off at about 180 right now, I understand how fasting works. Without fasting, I would not have been to the point where I'm at, and I applied it in the same type of stages. I applied it with intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, and again, this water only fasting strategy as well. And it all catapulted me to where I was at, to understand the process, understand my body, and be efficient at actually doing so. So again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday tends to be the best days. Your days may differ from another individual. So understanding the best days for you is going to be key, but having them all together is going to be important, because that 72 hours of fasting that you're in is going to allow you to experience the healing benefits all together. Because that 72 hours, you're going to be in autophagy, you're going to be experiencing ketosis, experiencing autolysis, and all these different metabolic changes within you that's going to help create that healing aspect that you're looking for. And think of it this way: 30 days of intermittent fasting and 3 days of water only fasting creates the same type of healing internally for the individual. So you could do an intermittent fasting for 30 days and get the same results as if you were doing a water only fast for 3 days. And me personally, I'm not an intermittent fasting type of person. I don't like watching the clock to know when I can eat. I'd rather just get it all done at one time period and don't have to think about it again. So understanding what your comfort levels and what you're able to do is going to be important. But if you do that water only fasting all together, this is going to allow you to see that great impact. Most individuals that do water only fasting, in the first couple of days, they can see themselves down anywhere between 4 and 6 pounds in one day just by simply doing the water only fasting. And this, of course, is going to be water weight and a lot of the body moving things around. Yeah, that's gonna happen. But the main thing is, during this process, you're going to be able to experience that internal change that's happening. And those things, whether it's from your body moving water around, your body, the fiber, your body eliminating the fiber and all the excess toxins that are built up, you're going to see things begin to move. But the most important part of it is how you continue afterwards to maintain these types of results. When you start eating, yeah, you're going to start gaining some weight back, but moving forward in a health promoting direction and continue to apply fasting as a strategy, it's going to allow for you to continue to build on this whole process. You're not going to lose it all in one day or one weekend. Build on it. You might lose 6 pounds this weekend, gain 3 back. You do it again the following month, or however frequently you want to do it, it continues to build on it. And as you're applying these other lifestyle strategies, you're going to see the compound interest from the results that you're doing. And this is going to continue to level you up through this whole process. So day one, water only fasting, simple as that, water only. One thing that I like to do during day one is usually a mental game. You get stuck in your head. Sometimes you forget that you're even fasting, or you forget certain process or certain things that you're doing. One thing that I like to do while I'm water only fasting, on day one, I like to detox my living area. So I like to clean my closet, clean out my phone, do a digital detox, do some of those little simple things that I typically won't do if I was in my regular full flow routine. Because during this time period, you usually have some good energy and you need to burn it off. You need to figure things out. You're kind of in the flow of still eating, and you haven't gotten the mental aspect of you being in a fasting state. So doing a digital detox and cleansing your surrounding areas, whether it's your room, that closet that's all banged up, cleaning out your phone, your laptop, organizing some things, those are all good day one activities to keep you occupied and keep you in the cleansing aspect, because not only are you cleansing your body internally, but you're also doing a digital detox and cleaning your surroundings. That's going to just create more flow throughout what you're doing and going to allow you to continue to release and get yourself together. So day one, I typically like to focus it around there. Day two, now you start to think more about the hunger and things like that. Some of the things that you can do is stretching. Stretching is going to help. Walking is going to help as well. You don't want to do any strenuous activities, but you want to make sure that you keep yourself moving and going in different ways. So simply doing some walking around the block, that's going to help you reflect on your why, the reason why you're doing this, and just kind of staying grounded and staying centered in this fasting state. Because again, those hunger pangs are going to come and go. One thing that I like to do when it happens, I like to go outside. You get hungry and you're sitting in the house, you get tempted. Like, oh man, the refrigerator right there, I'm a little hungry. You get tempted. Hunger pains come, put your shoes on, walk outside, go get a little bit of sun, and I can guarantee you it's going to ease off, because those hunger pains come and then they go. They come and they go. But keeping yourself moving, keeping yourself moving and creating a routine to distract you from this is going to be key. Now, you don't want to go exercise during this whole process, because again, you want your body to utilize that energy for healing and not to, use that energy to exert yourself in different ways. So simply doing a short walk around the block or some stretching, it allows for you to just keep your body in the flow state and take your mind off of the hunger aspect. So that's part of something that you can incorporate through this whole process. And then another thing is just making sure that you're focusing on some things that are important to you. One thing that I found myself doing frequently during my fast was watching certain types of movies, such as motivational movies. One of my favorites was The Secret. I used to watch that 2-3 times while I'm fasting, just to get some motivation on different projects that I might have been working on, revisiting different business plans, and just making sure I stay focused on things that are building to my lifestyle. Because sometimes if you're fasting, you might want to turn the TV on and just watch whatever movie is there. But take that time as you're cleansing your body, cleanse your mind, and reset and refocus on some things that are beneficial to you, whether it's understanding how to repair or rebuild your relationship, or dive back into that business plan that you might have, or whatever it is. But redirecting that energy to an outlet that's going to serve you as you continue on your journey is a big part of the process. So it's really up to you to find those things, but other health promoting activities that align with your cleansing process is going to be how you continue to move through this fasting cycle. One thing that you don't want to do, you don't want to be tied down to certain obligations while fasting. You don't want to be watching no kids. You don't want to have to go to the grocery store and dropping people off and running errands and doing things like that. That's the last thing you want to do while fasting, because one, it puts you in a position to exhaust yourself. You're moving around and you're moving your body. You're overthinking, like you're stimulating yourself in different ways, and your body's not getting any internal nutrients coming in. And now, in order to function, your body needs these nutrients to function at a high level. And when you don't get these things coming in, now your body, you start to get more agitated and more irritated than you typically would be. So understanding that the best thing to do is rest and allow yourself to be in a comforting environment during this process. Don't have no children to watch after. Don't have no obligations or things you have to do during this cycle, because it's going to only throw you off and allow you to be susceptible to different temptations that are going to be there. So just avoid those errands and those other obligations during fasting. This should be all centered around you and what you're trying to accomplish. As simple as that. So, if you have these obligations that you have to do, make arrangements. Just simple as that. And it's about you focusing on you at this particular moment. And this is how you're going to be the best version of yourself to continue to pour into the people around you that ultimately need you. So understand that this is about you and your health goals and what you're trying to accomplish. And you need these days to be the best version of yourself, to become the best version of yourself. So try to avoid those different things while you're in this fasting state. Now we're going to wrap it up with the breaking the fast. That way you can understand how to break your fast and what this whole process looks like, because breaking your fast is very, very important. And we talked about the whole food aspects, but now I want to just crunch it all in together. That way you can understand how delicate this process can be, especially when you're coming off of a long extended fast, 3 days or more. You want to make sure you're breaking your fast properly, because the main thing is, think of it this way: when you're fasting, it's basically like your digestive system is shut down. It turned off for a little while. There's no food coming in, so nobody's in there working. The cells are not there working and breaking things down. They're kind of on vacation mode, cleaning up and doing other things. So you want to make sure that when you get that digestive system started back up, you're giving it foods to slowly crank up and get itself back going. So I'm going to read off the breaking the fast aspect here. It's going to be a gentle approach. Breaking a fast is a delicate process that requires careful consideration and mindfulness. After a period of fasting, the digestive system needs time to readjust, and introducing gentle food is essential. Fresh fruits, rich in natural sugars and water, are an ideal choice for breaking a fast. They provide hydration, essential nutrients, and are gentle on the digestive system. Coconut water is also a acceptable option, offering hydration and electrolytes. It's crucial to avoid foods that are hard on digestion, such as heavy, greasy, or overly processed items. So fresh fruits are always going to be the best way to go. My go-to when it comes down to breaking your fast: fresh berries. Berries are always good. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. Those are all great options to begin with. Reason being, they're not necessarily high in sugars like, mangoes and watermelons and all those great things. Not saying there's anything wrong with those, but they are a gentle boost and they're easy to just get going with. You can get a nice assortment of them and you just pop them in. They're going to give you the fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, the potassium, all that great stuff, the antioxidants, and they're going to allow you to get yourself going. So having fresh fruits is going to be a great way to go. Coconut water, that's something that's really high in nutrients as well. It's high in potassium, high in magnesium. It's very, very hydrating. That's going to just continue to nourish you. One thing when fasting, I always look forward to cracking open a nice coconut and drinking the fresh water. It's just something that's so hydrating about that, especially coming off of a fast. So that's one thing that I personally enjoy while breaking the fast: fresh fruits, fresh coconut water. One thing that I want you to be mindful of is how much that you consume and how you consume, because you don't want to just gorge and overload with these fresh fruits. And then you also want to be mindful of things like smoothies as well also, because let's say you break your fast and you decide to have a smoothie. This, for some individuals, not all, this can bring about different complications or different challenges. And it's not necessarily that smoothies are bad, but it can bring about some challenges in different ways. Let's say if you're dealing with some weight issues and you decide to break your fast with a smoothie. So you take a smoothie, it's kind of like a cup of, I'm just giving a random recipe, a cup of pineapples, a cup of blueberries, maybe one banana and a whole bunch of other stuff, just blend it all in. So ideally, you won't sit down and eat all these things in one setting. Maybe do, maybe don't. You won't necessarily eat it in that one setting. If you do, you're not going to digest it as fast, because when you put this inside of a blender, it breaks it down. It breaks down the fiber, it breaks everything down, and this affects your digestive process. So now once you start consuming it, the digestion doesn't work exactly the same way. Reason being, if I eat an apple, a whole apple, and chew it and swallow it, now the body has to break down the remainder of it to absorb it and assimilate it and do what it needs to. But if I put that same apple inside of a smoothie and blend it, it's already completely broken down and digested basically inside of that blender. And when I consume it, it's going straight through, and the body's just going to be like, oh, let me catch up with whatever's going on. And that can have a direct impact on certain individuals, specifically individuals dealing with weight issues, individuals dealing with cholesterol problems, triglycerides particularly. These are all directly impacting those areas, mainly because of the amount of sugar that's there. So being mindful of what you're consuming and how you're consuming is going to be key. So fresh fruits, berries are always going to be the best. Coconut water is going to be great. If you don't have any berries, other fresh fruits are going to be fine as well, but make sure you're consuming whole foods. It's going to be the best way. Whole foods in their whole form, and then gradually build to whatever you're going to do next. Have some fresh fruits. After that meal, maybe build to a salad. After you have a salad, then you want to introduce your whole grains and your other items that you're going to be consuming afterwards. That way you give your digestive system time to crank up, build itself back up, and then get back into rolling. Because one thing that you don't want to do is come out the gate and eat something heavy, because now you're going to force yourself into this digestive mode when your digestive system hasn't been working for however many hours or what have you. And this can ultimately just turn your stomach in a knot and give you a lot of discomfort that you typically can avoid by simply just eating the right foods. So these are just small little things that you learn as you're moving forward. Simply just crank yourself back up with some fresh fruits, get yourself back going, and then just continue to move through that whole type of process. Those are going to be some of the best options. So with that being said, we went over time about 8 minutes. I'm gonna answer a couple questions that you guys have right here. But the last thing that we have to break down tomorrow is going to be our our fasting mimicking diet. And we talked about what the fasting mimicking diet looks like when it comes down to certain foods that you can still consume to allow you to still nourish your body in a certain way and still get some of the fasting benefits. So if you're someone that's not able to fast, or you can't see yourself going without food, the fasting mimicking diet is a diet that you can still do and consume foods on that's going to still mimic some of the results of this fasting aspect. I've given you guys the fasting mimicking diet ebook with the direct breakdown of how much or how many calories of certain foods that you can consume. And tomorrow I'm going to dive deeper into the fasting mimicking diet to help you understand how to put that type of diet together. Personally, I've never done the fasting mimicking diet because I don't like counting stuff. I don't want to do anything that requires my attention to kind of manage things. And the fasting mimicking diet, although it's very beneficial for how it works, it's designed for the individual that wants to just gradually step and understand and build and strategize their plan. This is for that individual that has no fasting experience and that's just nervous about everything that's there and want to be really particular about the details and get the same type of results. So we'll be breaking down a fasting mimicking diet, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. You already have the fasting mimicking diet guideline that I sent out to you guys every time I sent you the emails. That's your blueprint. Tomorrow we'll be breaking it down and we'll be digesting that and wrapping up our Healing Fast Challenge. That way you can understand the different aspects. So we did the intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, extended water only fasting, and then tomorrow the fasting mimicking diet. Tie it all together, get a great breakdown and understanding of it, and then understanding which one is best for you and what you can do to continue to build on these types of results. So I'm gonna answer any questions that we have there. If you guys have any, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll just continue to wrap these things up. I think I might have accidentally deleted my fasting ebook from the last fasting challenge. Is there a way to get a copy of that? I send every time I send an email out, I attach all the books to it. So when I sent the emails out today, every email actually, they have all the books that are listed there. So just check your email. All the emails have those breakdowns there. That way you can get a copy of all those different tools and be able to access them as freely as you need to. I'm ready to go on a 2-day intermediate level fasting schedule. But if I like to have the book to review the recommended process, I think I just went through that. What about frozen berries? Frozen berries are good. You know, nothing better than fresh, but frozen berries are good. Nothing wrong with having frozen berries. Frozen fruits of any type, they're gonna be okay. Just be mindful of them. Sometimes they freeze fruits and they add different type of things to them. But if you got some fresh frozen berries with nothing, no additives, no preservatives to it, you should be just fine. So yeah, frozen fruits are gonna be good. Next, Jerry Patton, I received my high blood pressure breakdown cookbook today. So happy. My pleasure. I'm glad it actually got to you. Those other individuals that may be tuned in that ordered the cookbook, if you ordered within the last week, either you should have got it already or it should be landing any day now, basically. So the cookbooks are gone out. Last week's orders are gone out. Cookbook, the breakdown books, all those tools are already gone out to everyone. And if you're part of if you signed up for the Healing Fast Challenge, every email I sent out has the attachments of the Healing Fast ebook, the fasting mimicking diet ebook, and all the things that you need to continue through this whole process. So with that being said, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow where we break down the fasting mimicking diet, and we'll continue taking the necessary steps to get control of these blood pressure issues and work our way off of the pharmaceutical medication. So peace and blessings, everyone. Take care.